Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary show that answers the question, how many Knowles can Allison eat in one sitting? Subscribe to the channel because today we are reviewing the Great British Baking Show, Collection 12, Episode 1, Cake.
Fuck yeah.
We're back.
So glad it's back. This is like always the highlight of my year.
Finally, joy.
Yes, finally.
Fucking...
Everything else has been just pure misery and a slog to get through.
Yeah.
This is just, it's tense.
Yeah.
Like you can easily shit diamonds if you shove coal up your ass first, but in a good way. I mean,
the only way I make money.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I don't want to give away the trade secrets, man.
Sorry, I mean, if.
Yes.
Initial thoughts of this episode?
Fucking Noel is a much better Barbie. Period. I don't know how I feel about the Bakers, but Noel was definitely fantastic in the intro.
I don't know what Prue was doing.
Well, so did you ever see the Barbie movie?
No.
Okay, that's why. So there's a character in the Barbie movie that is Crazy Barbie. It's basically what happens when a kid takes a pair of scissors to a Barbie and draws all over her. So that's what Prue was doing. So it was actually a really good version of that. But if you haven't seen it, you don't get it.
Yeah.
We should change that. It's actually a really fucking funny movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's just one of those, there's like, it got so much hype when it came out. I was like, maybe I'll check it out when it's on streaming. And I just never got around to it.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, it's pretty fucking funny. I enjoyed it. I saw it a couple times in theaters.
I love Margot Robbie.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, this for me, it was a return to form, like we had mentioned at the top. I just felt good the whole time. I mean, I love this show. I love how it makes me feel. I love the joy that's in every contestant's expression when they first get to the tent, and then to see that joy just go to terror.
Yeah.
For me, is a joy.
Yeah, absolutely. They
So
get to
much
live
fun.
it, so we get to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's great. So this is, of course, the hosts are Noel Fielding, Allison Hammond is the comedic hosts, and then the judges are Paul Hollywood and Prue Lee. Leith. I don't know. Prue is badass.
Prue's a
needle ass
fucking
name.
boss.
She could be like Cher, just one name.
Yeah.
So the way this works is this is a competition. Every week someone gets kicked off. There's 3 challenges throughout each episode, and each episode is themed. This one's cake. So we always start with, I'm looking for the proper verbiage because I'm always off. The signature, then it's the technical, and then it's a showstopper. It's all based around the theme. So, of course, this is cakes. For the signature, it was just loaf. It could be, which is just the word itself. It could be any version of a loaf you want to make. But that's, sort of part of the challenge is finding out, you don't want to be too boring. You want it to look good, but most importantly, you want it to taste good. And this is a microcosm of the UK, of Britain, of the types of people that you find in this. And it ranges from like, I'm sort of looking at the people here, from a retired nail technician to birth trauma specialist, a farm manager, dentistry student, a car mechanic who looks suspiciously to me like Jason Bateman, the comedic actor,
You're thinking Jason Statham.
No, there's Bateman is he's a comedic actor that's he was in Teen Wolf too, but he's been in all sorts of stuff like Game Night and stuff like that. Anyway, he's hilarious. But point is, he looks a lot like him, and it's kind of freaking me out. And one thing I noticed about this, what is it with Indians and their fucking jeans? They look goddamn gorgeous. Like I'm talking like people from India.
Here's the thing. Indians are just like gingers. They are either the most beautiful thing you've ever seen,
right,
or they're next to chuds.
Right.
There's very rarely an in-between.
It's true. It's very true. But you immediately, just because we are tribal humans and we have our lizard brains, we immediately judge these people just based on their appearance, how they talk, and how they act. And then, of course, ultimately, how they bake or not. And so, do you have any sort of standouts before we get into the bakes? Of like just people that you think, oh, this is going to be a fun one to watch.
I mean, honestly, pretty much everybody as they're doing their introduction was like, all right, this could be a fun episode, or a fun season rather.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning, I didn't really have any necessarily standouts initially. I mean, once we get into the signature, obviously there's a standout. But yeah, at first it's just like, okay, this is our traditional group that we're gonna have.
Yeah.
Kind of just covers the whole range.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in the outcome of the signature loaf cake challenge, except for one, of course.
Yeah, there's one that
amazing
was stellar.
handshake.
Yeah, that was the craziest goddamn thing. A handshake right out the fucking gate. First bake, first episode. Like, that is, I mean, it's cool as shit, but that's also going to be, like, probably what does her in.
Seemingly it has already.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, fuck, she just sucked the rest of this episode. But yeah.
Yeah, she shit the bed
like,
everywhere else.
That's going to be hard to keep that momentum.
And, like, to be fair, half of the effort's in the mold. Like, to make it look good, you just don't have to pile shit on top of it, something that no one else seemed to understand. But she just didn't. She just kept it super simple. She had a mold that looked nice. She glazed the loaf after it came out. And it was just a hardcore, good-baked, hardcore cinnamon. How do you not like that?
Dude, man, when she was flipping that motherfucker and it finally drops, I was like, I have been there before where it's like, did I grease that edge just right? Or am I going to kill myself after this? So when that came out just beautiful, it was like I could breathe again.
Well, especially after Paul coming by early on, he's like, did you grease that? She's like, what?
Yeah. the fucking shit disturber, Paul Hollywood. Dude, that motherfucker, like, yeah, I can't even imagine the pressure these guys are going through trying to fucking bake for him.
Yeah, with him just mad dogging you the whole time.
And fucking with you. Like, that's what he does. Like, even if you're doing exactly right, he's still gonna go, just to fuck with you.
Yeah. Yeah, were any of these signatures, did any of them stick out to you other than of course, the one that got the handshake, the Ilian? Ilian?
Yeah, I think it's Ilian. Yeah. I mean, not really. Like, a lot of them sounded great, but just kind of turned out pretty uneventful. Like, the thing is, you know, they did say from the get-go, it's a loaf, it's simple, but make it more. And it's like, everybody shit the bed with decoration. Like, if you're going to have just a traditional brick loaf, it's got to look pretty. I'm trying to think. Like, the cherry and chocolate one sounded good, but like the marbling was just shit.
Yeah.
The lemon and linseed, I don't even know what the fuck linseed is, other than like shoe polish. So that was just like, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything else is sort of just like, that's a fucking loaf.
Like, the coconut one sounded pretty good. I think there was like a center core to it that didn't really work for the judges, but I mean, anytime you put coconut in something, I'm interested. My ears perk up.
Yeah, same.
The Hollow was surprised by Samaya. I don't know what the fuck Hollow is.
Yeah, I mean, she was explaining it, but I was kind of not paying attention because I was just watching it.
Well, I mean,
so
it was just
I missed it too, but yeah.
It's like a fruit or something. It's just, I don't know. Like, I have no experience with it. So it's very strange because ultimately what we're doing when we're watching this, we're trying to imagine what it's going to taste like, just like the judges before they get to take a bite. And even when the judges take a bite, I'm just like, are they just being nice?
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of them where Prue was like, this is a pretty stiff loaf. And then Paul would be like, I'm going to be a little bit more real than that.
Man. I love that. That shit was so funny when he'd be like, I'm going to be fucking real with you. Yeah, that was the thing. Like, when people, because there were a couple of different bakers that did that, where they did a hollow core, like they took a tube, cut it out, and filled it. And it just seemed like none of them were able to successfully fill it. Like, it was like, especially with the hollow, like that looked good. I would have tried it, but it's like she didn't make enough. Same with what was it? It was the umami apple loaf.
Christians.
That was just like, there was nothing in the center.
It was almost like it just like melted out, like cooked into the actual bread itself, like soaked into the bread, which is unfortunate because when he was putting it together, it looked good.
Yeah, definitely.
Just goes to show you really need to understand time and temperature when you have a filling that needs to remain.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then just the idea of umami and apple, like what the savory and like the sort of sweet crunch of apple, like what does that taste like?
Yeah,
Weird.
Definitely. I was curious.
None of the other ones. I got to be honest though, I was a little bit pissed off about Jeff. He did his guiding star loaf, which was not good, but then he just pop smoked the whole episode. He just left. And they said he wasn't feeling well, but dude, you're like one of 12 people. Like, show the fuck up and put in the fucking work. There's people at home that would have loved to have been there.
Right. I get it. I mean, it's depending on why he left. Like, if he's got a legit communicable disease, like he's got a cold or something, I get it. Like, you don't want to bring that around everybody, much less feed people, because then the chances are they're going to get it. But it's still at the same time, it's like fucking gloves, masks. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, so the signature, there was one standout. The rest of them just didn't even get the mark of making it look good, let alone some of them having it even taste good, which was very weird that these were the 12 chosen out of all of UK. The technical, I feel like Paul fucked everyone.
Dude.
Like, who the fuck does that?
That was some bullshit. Like, as soon as he was like, yeah, you guys are going to taste it and make it. It's like, you are a fucking monster, sir.
That's dirty. That is dirty. Some of these people never made marzipan, too. Like,
right?
The fuck are you
like,
doing there?
I've never made marzipan. I wouldn't even know what the fuck I was doing. And the killer is there's so many people in this competition that aren't even nationals.
Yeah.
Like, they're from other fucking countries, and you expect them to understand a British thing? Like, come on, man.
Well,
that was evil.
Like, part of that, though, like, marzipan seems to be one of those staples that's always used in every season. It's almost in, like, there's always someone that does something with marzipan in every challenge. It's one of those things that if you're going to go on the show, in my opinion, you should know a few staples. And that is maybe 3 different types of sponges and at least some fucking, like meringue and marzipan, because you're going to have to deal with them. Like, you shouldn't even go on the show if you don't know that.
That's true.
But this particular case, with literally no recipe, and the only response that the only suggestion he gave was everything needs to be even. But even to what? Even to every other ingredient? No, it was only even to certain ingredients, and then other ingredients had to be even to themselves. But the ratios between them, I just spit on my camera, were not supposed to be even. So it was like totally fucked.
Yeah, man.
Are you feeling okay?
I probably would have had a fucking panic attack.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's fucking evil.
They're just like, taste it and then make it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you?
Right.
Like, what?
Especially, like, because the breakdown of it is it's a log, essentially, made of 4 cross sections of a sponge, frosted with jam, wrapped in marzipan. On paper, it doesn't sound that difficult until, you have no fucking directions. And that's just some fucking monster shit.
and the outcome was all over the board.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the fuck were these people thinking? Like, it has to have been a dessert that is popular in UK, right? Like, I feel like everyone has it in some... If you've ever gone to a patisserie shop, or like a bakery, you would have seen one of those at some point and maybe even, tasted one at some point. But like, some people didn't have enough almond extract in their marzipan. Some of them had too much of it. Like, it was just, and like one of the women, one of the bakers, I think she actually won that competition. She doesn't measure anything. She just eyeballs everything. And that drives me nuts. You don't go into a baking competition eyeballing.
Dude, that's, baking is a science, like literal science. It is math. So to just, like, wing it, that's something that I am almost, fucking 40 years old. I have been baking since I was a wee child. Yeah. I am just now getting to the point where I can almost comfortably go, a little bit more of this will be fine in my baking. Yeah. Because it's such an exact thing. that when I see people just doing that shit, it's just like a little piece of me dies.
Especially in a competition scenario. I was just like, oh
Yeah.
no, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, oh god, no. I see, you can't. Don't try it.
Right.
I mean, she didn't pull it off in the first bake, but the second one, it totally worked for her for some insane reason.
Yeah, that's just dumb luck, man.
It's crazy. So the outcome of these, I mean, some of them looked like the mock-up that they all saw and tasted. So it's not like they
Yeah.
didn't know what it was supposed to look like.
Yeah,
And then
that was the thing.
some looked
Like
like
you had
a
a
six-sided dice.
yeah.
like
Well,
big
that was
dice.
that was the one that really killed me because they weren't just like squares.
Yeah.
They were also fucking massive. Like it looks like it's supposed to be about this big. Hers were like this,
It was huge.
but a fucking like perfect perfect cube.
Yeah. So instead of having any length at all, it was just like my penis, just like a little square. I mean, it was bigger than my penis in width, but oh, it was just ridiculous. I was just killing me watching that thing. And ultimately, like no one did great, but of course you have to rank them anyway.
Yeah.
And even the people that got like the final two, I wasn't particularly impressed with because reflecting back on the judges' comments when they first tried them, it didn't seem like they really knocked it out of the park. But the judges have to kind of give it to them because they didn't have a fucking recipe.
Right, that's the thing. It's like there has to be a little bit of wiggle room because that is just like some mean shit to do to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you're a professional, like it's still it's a bitch.
Yeah, 100%. So ultimately, Georgie got it first, and Christian got second. I don't know how to feel about Christian because he didn't do well on the signature. He did pretty well on the technical, but then when we see his showstopper, the sweet seams are made with this, it looked great, but it tasted like shit.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, I wasn't really that blown away by it because that was the jeans, right?
No, the sweet seams was the sewing machine.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Just kidding. I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, I mean the structure of it looked great, and you know even had a little threads threaded through it, a little, string.
Yeah, there was thread,
Which
a
looked
bobbin,
cool.
there was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if we're moving on to the showstopper,
Oh yeah, sure.
probably the one that got me the most, and not because it was like perfect or anything. It just watching her take it up front.
Oh yeah.
By the handle, like Hazel's handbag illusion.
Yeah.
I seriously diamonds. I would have shat diamonds if I had Cole up there. And the thing is, I saw the apparatus that she built to put the cake on, but still, I was like, oh god, it's gonna break. The handle's gonna break.
Yeah. Something has to go wrong, but it didn't. She's an interesting one. So she's an old lady. She can't seem to cook very well.
Yeah.
She did bad in both previous challenges, and this one was just as bad. I mean, the only reason why it was impressive is because she carried it up there.
Yeah.
But because there was a metal apparatus for her to carry it up there with, and that was it. Because as soon as you cut into it, it tastes like dog shit.
Yeah. That seemed to be kind of like the through line with almost everybody. Like nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, and cake is like what the show is built on.
Right, cake is so fucking easy. I mean, it's easy to fuck up too, but there's a few basic rules that if you apply that to every bake, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, in this particular case, they were supposed to be hyper realistic cakes, so it had to look exactly like a real thing, not just a cake. So, I mean, that already puts a high bar on it.
Definitely.
We actually had 2 ducks. Did you have a preference with those 2 ducks?
Well, so we had a duck and we had a chicken.
Okay, yes.
The duck was
Too
fucking
foul.
amazing. That was just mind-blowing that she had the same amount of time as everybody else and did that.
Yeah.
Like, that duck was gorgeous. The chicken, I'll give her an A for effort, but it did not look good. It looked like that chicken got thrown in a fucking microwave. Like the face was starting to slog off and shit.
You know what it looked like to me? It looked like one of my chickens that was molting. So like half of its feathers were like gone and it just looks insane. It looks like a crazy creature, not even real. Like a cartoon, you know? That's what that chicken looked like. And so I immediately started thinking for some reason of the Deadpool 3 dog. I was just like, oh, it's an ugly creature. I love ugly pets. I think they're so funny.
Same.
And so it immediately endeared me to it. And we have chickens, and it was a chicken. So even though I just said duck, I clearly don't know the difference.
I mean, whatever. It's easy to mix them up. They're
They both
both
have wings and bills. I don't know, beaks. I don't fucking know animals. But like, I felt like Samaya, she was heralded so much for her duck, and yes, the head looked great, but the feathers were just indicated. It wasn't like she made feathers. She just made patterns. And so that always kind of makes me feel like you're kind of cheating a little bit, especially when compared to someone who literally did 300 feathers.
Yeah, that's no easy feat.
I mean, she put them on poorly, but she still put them on.
Yeah, I mean, she fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like,
I did like the beginning when Samaya was like constructing it, because she used like rice cake and Rice Krispie treats and like cake mix, and she like stuck a thing in its bum, and I was just like, that's a specific request in a married couple. And
it's usually got to be in it for a few years before they'll even like consider it. So
just like, geez, right on TV.
Get
a room. Huh.
I mean, it's different. It's a different country. It's a different culture.
Totally different culture.
Is what it is.
She's adorable as an individual, Samaya. Her Hallway prize wasn't good. She shit the bed on she was the one that did the cube. The bake.
That's right. Yeah.
And then the Pat of the Duck just knocked it out of the park, but she still didn't win, which was surprising when everyone was so freaking out about it.
The taste wasn't on point, if I remember correctly, was it?
No. And there was that joke that was thrown out by Allison. And she's like, how does this fanny taste, Paul? And everyone was like losing their mind because he cut a piece out of its butt. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you've done better.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was losing their minds.
Yeah, it's the first episode. They got to give it a second.
Yeah. There was a moment where, and you don't really see this often because the camera crews are great about, or the editors are great about cutting the footage, where there's like a sick desperation sometimes when one of the hosts is talking to one of the contestants, and you get like this, the contestant is expecting the host to say something or do something really funny, and then they do or say something, but it doesn't quite hit the bar of actually laughing or reacting, and so they just sort of stand there for a minute. We saw a cut where Noel made some sort of weird joke. He was laughing. I mean, he's laughing because he's trying to get them to laugh and sort of be in the moment on camera. But the girl wasn't having it at all. She was just sort of looking at him like, are you going to say a punchline? Or it was so funny. I was just like, oh, no, you were so close. Oh, swing and miss.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Woof. Nellie, she's like the really big girl. And that just the line of her saying, when I was a little girl, I was a really big girl, and I always wanted to wear girly shoes, but I had to wear boys' shoes. And she's making like the chunkiest motherfucking shoe ever.
Yeah, man, that was a Mary Jane that has had way too many snacks. Like that was
snacking Mary Jane.
That was pretty funny. Well, then the funny thing is, she says that she was a size 8, and it's like, of course, dumb American. I'm thinking, God, that's not that fucking big,
right?
And then I had to think about it. It's like, wait, this is a different scale. Yeah. What is the conversion of, across the pond versus here for an 8?
Yeah, I don't know.
I never looked it up. I completely forgot about it until now. But it's like, that doesn't seem that big.
No,
it's like my wife's got tiny feet, and she's an 8.
Yeah,
7.5, 8.
8 is not big at all, but a UK 8 is.
I guess that's
pretty
big.
I think.
Yeah.
So hers, I thought it looked good, but again, they said it didn't taste that good. And I just don't understand. Are they not tasting the cakes? Are they trying to overbake it in order for it to stay together? Like, I just don't know how you make a cake that tastes like shit.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. I mean, how do you expect to be on this competition, let alone win it? If you can't make something that tastes good. Mike did. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, Mike did the favorite cake and book Illusion. And I mean, everyone acted like that was the fucking second coming of Jesus. And I was just like, I mean, that's kind of lazy.
Yeah, it's like they're books. That's not that hard. Yeah, it's a pretty solid shape. The thing is, like, yes, he did stamp out the titles and stuff. So I mean, that's a
But
level
like a
of
molded
something.
stamp, though. It's not like he
Exactly.
hand did it.
And the thing is, it's like he didn't even give it like a crease along the spine. Like that
Yeah.
is something that exists with books. Like so you can fucking open it without destroying it.
Or what would have been amazing if he just sort of did a freehand, like autograph on the book, or like a to Paul, my favorite blue-eyed devil or something, just something so that because they're going to pick it up and open it, and he even encouraged them to do so. So why wouldn't you put something in it?
Right?
I don't know. The whole thing just bugged me. Even him as a human being bothers me.
Yeah, I'm still kind of on the fence with him. Because that's the one that was like crying as soon as the show started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the fence with how I feel about that kid.
He's a farmer, and he like purportedly tries to make things with stuff, that he sort of creates or grows or whatever. But all he's doing is trying to be one of the jokey hosts the whole time. He's trying to tell jokes and be funny instead of focusing on the goddamn task at hand and letting the professionals do the jokes.
Right.
Like the whole bush thing he was doing. I wanted to like run up there, grab the thing, and break it on the ground, yell, and get your ass to work.
Yeah,
Like, stop
dude,
fucking
you're
around.
wasting a lot of fucking time on this really bad joke.
Yeah, just what are you doing, man? Take it seriously for fun. I mean, have fun, but do your role, which is to bake. Not try to fucking be cutesy with fucking Allison like you guys are a weird buddy cop team, which I would actually probably watch that, but you're not going to be better than Noel. So
No, hell no.
So
not at
stop
all.
trying. I loved it when she took a bite out of his cheek.
That
and
was
it
fucking
fucked
hilarious.
him up. He was just like, oh my God.
Well, especially because it left a mark. It's like, damn, she actually got him good.
She Hannibal Lectered his ass. It was
yeah.
awesome. We'll wait for the winner because actually I'm trying to remember the guy who got the winner. Anyway, we'll get there in a second.
Yeah, that's the only one that I'm not remembering.
Yeah.
Just looking at the this stuff.
So Ilian's vase, like she's the one that got the handshake at the very beginning. She got 7th in the second, and now she did a vase. The flowers were just rice paper flowers, so there's no skill there. She
I
just
will
fried 'em
say,
real quick.
I would have never thought of that, and those looked fucking killer.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, took next to no effort,
It's a fun technique
but
for
still,
sure.
that's cool as hell.
But you got to get the vase to look like a vase, and it just looked like this weird rectangle with shitty folded fondant.
That's the thing. If you're gonna do a very simple shape, do it right.
Yeah.
Like especially, like that's a relatively simple shape to
Really
decorate. You
easy,
shouldn't
yeah.
have any seams with that fondant.
Yeah.
Like fondant is a little tricky to work with. It can be, but not that fucking hard.
Yeah, I think, and a vase is the easiest shape to just fake. Instead of just doing a rectangle, just carve a little curve in it. That's it. And it doesn't have to be exact. They understand it's a cake. So just like her patterns that she was spraying on with the stencil would look great. If she just would have had a little shape to it, and she would have taken some extra time with that fondant, I think she probably would have won that damn thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Hazel's handbag illusion, we already talked about. The grown green bowling illusion, I don't know what
that
the
was
fuck Jill was doing. Like,
It's like, again, if you're gonna do a simple shape, do the shape right.
yeah.
Like those are supposed to be balls, and they look like fucking cones. They look like something that Indiana Jones is gonna come take. Like, come on.
Right.
Like I
Right.
wish that we would have saw Noel in the background with a sandbag in his hand, looking at it,
That would have been
sitting there
hilarious.
stroking his chin.
That
I
would've
would have
been
lost my
hilarious.
shit.
She was the one she was the one that was looking at Noel about the joke, because as soon as he came over there, he was like, what are you doing with this? Because she had this big thing with a square with, what looked like a cake mold with plastic wrap on it. She's like, oh, that's to hold the wrap so I can wrap my balls. And I'm waiting for the joke punchline to land, because if I'm Noel, I'm going to be like, I wrap my balls every night. Let me help you out. Like, I would do something, like, hey, let's see if it works. It's just something. Not a damn thing. You just let it slide. I was just like, God damn it, Noel. What are you doing?
Yeah, that was a very weird time to play it safe. Like why?
Georgie's Fanny the Chicken was the crazy chicken we talked about. The canopic jar illusion from Dylan. I'm trying to remember what that was.
Yep, I don't remember that one either, to be perfectly honest.
Some of these names that they name them just throw me for a loop because it doesn't always match up.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like with Andy's, I was trying to remember, like, I remember him and I remember what he did, but it kept throwing me off with the name because I'm like, it's an overnight job. What the fuck? And it's like, oh, yeah, that was the leather handbag. And honestly, like, I think he could have done pretty goddamn well if he had had his fucking timer next to his goddamn ear.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is,
overcooked
I
it
get
too.
it. I can't hear for shit. If I can't hear for shit and I got to listen to something that's very quiet, I'm going to make sure that's right by my head. And as a timer, you just clip it to your fucking collar or something.
Yeah.
Because yeah, he had the flavor. It looked fantastic. Like, it looked real.
Yeah.
It just, he overbaked his shit.
Andy was just one of those funny people.
Mhm.
And I loved, like, he made this great joke about, well, if I'm going to get, I'm paraphrasing, if I'm going to get eliminated, then I'm going to jack up Paul's car, take his rims, happy days. And I was just like, fuck yeah, dude, you're a proper shitty Cockney. And then he does this handbag thing, and he's supposed to be like this, this sort of like tough Cockney mechanic guy. And he does this leather bag, which looks brilliant. But like Noel makes this joke about, him looking like dressing like a 12-year-old boy. And I was just like, yeah, you look like an ass. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, why are you dressing like that? I don't understand what your whole style. But he's the one that looked like Bateman to me. But Patrick
okay,
Bateman, no, Jason Bateman, that's it, not Patrick Bateman. Jason Bateman is the one he looks like to me. So the overnight job I thought looked great, but of course it didn't taste great because he overcooked it and he blamed his tinnitus, and I call bullshit. He was just talking because he doesn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be the talker of the season.
Yeah. Now that jar, the Knoppet jar, was that the Egyptian jar?
Yes, that's right. That was pretty meh.
Yeah. I mean, the
Simple
head
shape,
was okay.
simple
but
decoration.
it was just a fondant thing. It wasn't the
Yeah,
cake.
that's the thing. Like, it wasn't even Rice Krispies with fondant.
Yeah.
Like, it was just pure fondant. It's like, come on, at least with Rice Krispies. Because, like, I don't know if you've ever eaten just a wad of fondant.
No.
But you don't want to.
No.
It is as unappealing as it seems.
Yeah, and the
Like,
body didn't even look that great to me.
No, like the jar. I mean, the thing is, and Paul even said it, like it looked like what it was supposed to be. Size-wise, shape, decorations, it did look like what it was supposed to be. But again, that's also a fucking safe shape. I mean, it's a little bit more complex, I guess, than Homegirl's vase, Ilian's.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's a tube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tube. I'd try to fuck it. So John did the cherry chocolate marble loaf cake for the signature. I'm sorry, for the what's it called? Yeah, the signature.
Yeah,
For
that
the
was the signature.
technical. He got third, which isn't bad. And then he did the perfect brunch illusion cake, which I don't remember what that was.
That's the thing. I remember the cake flavor profile, but I don't remember what the fuck he made.
Oh, wait,
Was
it?
Oh no, that those were the jeans.
That was the jeans?
Yeah, because him and his friends.
Gave him Star Baker for the jeans?
It was because of the flavor.
Oh, right.
Because the flavor was on point, like it was like eating a margarita. Because that was the joke that they would go have brunch, get tanked on margaritas, and then not be able to afford to go buy clothes afterwards.
Yeah.
That
was the laziest sculpt I ever saw.
There could have been more volume to it, and frankly, like, it should have had more definition.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do something that simple and you have a fucking airbrush at your disposal, use it.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the easiest, well, I mean, easy if you understand how to work them, but it's the easiest way to paint. And it's so easy to get shades and textures and shit. So
There's also like I thought he did good. He did fine with the top of it. Adding like little visual seaming folds and stuff using the thing, but it was the side rolls, the folding of the thing. Like, one of the first things I learned in art classes when I was in school was that you don't use hard black on anything. You use a mix of the color and complementary colors to add the shadow so that it doesn't look cartoonish, so that you have the definition of the edge, but it doesn't look like a comic book where you have a hard black line.
Yeah.
And his little folding was hard black lines. And the whole time, I'm just like, if you just took like one color theory class or one art class, you would know never to do that. Like,
Right.
fuck. Like, you think it looks good because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Everyone else in the world knows it looks like shit.
Well, it's like, and if you're gonna do that, like, it's fine to do something like that as a base if you're gonna be painting in a medium where you layer it, like such.
Yeah.
So it's like doing that, fine. Black where it shouldn't be, that's okay. But like you said, adding other colors, that's where it comes into play. So you're putting shit over black, so it makes those colors look deeper than they actually are.
Yeah.
But even then it's like you're adding an extra step to something you don't need to add an extra step to.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Chris, about these being alternates and stuff. I'm not sure how that works.
From my understanding, they have to try it out each year.
Okay.
So they might have tried out for other years.
Yeah, right.
And I'm pretty sure we've actually had that before, where somebody said, "Oh, I've been trying out X amount of times, and this, I'm finally getting on."
Yeah,
So
I think so too. Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily consider that alternates. Now, anytime it comes to competition shit, like the behind the scenes stuff, yes, there's gonna be alternates, but you're not gonna know about them. Just like with Chopped, there's 5 contestants, but only 4 go on stage because sometimes one backs out, and they have to film it. They have to have asses there. So yeah, I don't know.
We should have had someone come in for Jeff. Do you think Jeff's gonna be back next week?
Yeah. I think Jeff's going to go home though, because ultimately nobody goes home this week because they had a contestant leave and they're like, oh, well, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. But that means we might have 2 leave next week. So just from his loaf cake, like, I think he might be going home next week.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
So congratulations to John for being the star baker. Congratulations to Ilian for getting the handshake this episode. But overall, I'm not very impressed.
No.
As far as like character of the individuals, I like Andy. He's that sort of just that weirdo kid. I mean, he's not a kid, but grown ass man. Who else was a sort of interesting character? I actually kind of like Nellie. I think she, the big girl. Something about her.
She is going to play off of Noel real well this season. That shit was so goddamn funny when Noel and Allison went up to her and like, oh, who would you choose? Oh, I can't, but I love Noel. Yeah. It's like, God, this is just going to be fucking hilarious. It's just going to be her bashfully flirting with him this whole season, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. I like looking at Samaya. I like looking at Dylan. I think they're very attractive humans, and it's always nice to look at an attractive human. But for some reason, what was the girl who won the challenge here? Georgie. I feel like she's probably going to go pretty far, just off the top of my head. For her to, first of all, she didn't measure, and then for her to pull out a first in that technical, that tells me she can cook.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like, still, we haven't seen that before on Bake Show. So the fact that, she got first, that's just mind blowing. Like, was it perfect? No. But considering what she was up against, fucking damn near.
Hey, Jason, how you doing, man? Okay, so all in all, I think it was a nice, good start, and it was just a nice return to the show after having been away for so long. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's episode because I really want old man Jeff to get the fuck out of there. There's no reason for him to be there. Like, really, just leave. Like, if you're sick, just go. Tap out. Don't make these people fucking work for you to then come back next week and do some good shit. Like, you already shit the bed. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I love seeing Noel and Allison again. I love their dynamic. I think they're a great hosting team, arguably better than the last 3.
Absolutely. Like, this is, out of everything that they've had, like, they play off each other the best. Yeah. Like, I still liked, oh God, what the fuck was her name? The little bitty one.
Samaya was the very small.
No. I'm talking about the host. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
The one before the bald guy that sucked.
The old lady.
yeah. She was cool, but I like initially I was a little I guess held back from liking Allison, but yeah, towards the end of the season I was like, fuck it, she's awesome, and already she's coming in hot. So
yeah,
I love it.
I love that she's not afraid to tell dirty jokes.
Yeah.
Like, I personally appreciate this.
Yeah, absolutely. The raunchier, the better. So,
did you have a favorite bake of this episode?
I mean, the cinnamon loaf cake was fucking amazing. Like, that looked absolutely amazing. I immediately wanted to make it.
Yeah.
And that duck, Play-Doh the duck, that was just beautiful. Yeah, I guess that'd probably be it. Oh, and Andy's. Andy's was like that handbag. Like, yeah, they were busting his balls about it being small for an overnight bag, but it's like, I mean, I can pack less for fucking weekends, so
yeah.
I get it. But yeah, that was beautiful as well.
Yeah, I don't know that I had a favorite bake because it was either it looked great or it tasted like shit, or it tasted good, but it wasn't looking that great.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted it to fire on all cylinders, you know?
Yeah,
So,
of course.
I don't know. Hi, Jason's girlfriend. Thanks for watching. Are you like over his shoulder perching? Like pushing him out of the way. Let me type this real quick.
Yes.
Least favorite. Did you have a least favorite bake?
Shit. Like, honestly, I can't get over that vase illusion cake. That was just absolutely atrocious. Like, even worse than the bowling balls that weren't balls at all.
Bowling balls are so stupid.
It just, like, whatever. The balls, they weren't spherical, but you knew what they were looking at them. Mm-hmm. She did the details in them, like the curves, the printing on top. That vase was just terrible, though. Like, those fondant edges were, like, she should have been sent home just for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, my least favorite were the books, the stack of books. Talk about mailing it in my opinion. You make a C out of fondant and you have a square bake from the oven. That's all he did.
Yeah.
And then he used 3D printed stamps. Mm-hmm. Like, come on. You need to do better than that to stay in this damn competition.
The only reason why I'm okay with that more than the vase illusion is just the seams, man.
Yeah.
Those were so bad.
Yeah, that was rough.
And at least his cakes were good.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing, is the flavors were on point. It was just boring.
Yeah. I hope he does better because I want to like him. I don't want to not like someone, you know, but if you're a piece of shit, I just can't like you. So,
right.
I hope he's not a piece of shit. That's all. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't have anything else for this. Did you want to say anything else?
No, man. I think we got it.
All right. Well,
pretty good first episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad it's back. I really am. We've been watching so much shit lately that it's nice to have something good to talk about.
It really is. Like, I've been looking forward to this all fucking week.
It's like a fucking meditation. It's so like me sitting on the couch with an edible and a glass of wine watching British Bake Off is as good as it gets.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Nothing could top. Well,
there's a couple of things I think that might be better.
Getting a BJ while I'm doing all of that.
Literally stole the words right out of my mouth. That's the only way to make this better.
Oh, man. Ironically, it's what I put in his mouth. All right,
anyway, you know what?
We don't have to finish it.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Watch British Baking Show so you can chime in on your thoughts on these bakes and talk some smack with us. It'll be fun.
And it's just a great fucking show.
Yeah, it's a good time for sure. Always, let us know if you had any favorite bakes on this, or if you even like this show at all. Do you have a favorite cooking show? And if not, what the fuck is wrong with you? Cooking's great. It is a ritual that you do for the love of the people you're cooking for.
Oh, yeah, Jason.
For fuck's sake. Oh, hell yeah. Good for you, man. All right. Well, always, like it or not, I'm just going to read it. As always, like it or not, evil spelled backwards is live. So get out there, bake some fucking food, and be evil.
Hell yeah. It's what Satan wants.
Yes. That's why they say dark side's got cookies.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking make them.
Absolutely.
We.
I mean, we are they.